Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is now week 17 in the NFL, so we are back with my weekly NFL predictions. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you do like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And with that being said, let's get to my week 17 NFL predictions. Alright, and as always, we will start with the previous week recap. So we'll start with the Jaguars beating the Jets, the Bills beat the Bears, the Saints beat the Browns, the Chiefs beat my Seahawks, unfortunately. The Vikings beat the Giants, Bengals beat the Patriots, Panthers beat the Lions. That was a shootout. That was kind of fun. Ravens beat the Falcons, Texans beat the Titans. That one was a little surprising. 49ers beat the Commanders, Cowboys, Eagles. That was a good game as well. I wish Jalen Hurts could have played in that one. That would have been just money. Next, Steelers beat the Raiders, Packers beat the Dolphins, Rams beat the Broncos. They beat the brakes off the Broncos. That was a barn burner for sure for the Broncos. Buccaneers beat the Cardinals in overtime, which I don't know what to make of the Buccaneers right now. And finally, the Chargers beat the Colts. So 11-5 on the week, not bad. We're back to my winning ways. You know, we're gonna knock on wood, but record after 16 weeks is 145, 93-2. We have 2 more weeks left, so I'm gonna try and see if we can keep that loss total under 100, but we'll see. All right, and as of week 16, this is the AFC playoff picture. The Bills and the Chiefs have clinched their divisions. The Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chargers have clinched playoff berths. And yeah, the Jaguars are fighting with the Titans for the 4th seed, and Miami is fighting with everybody who's still alive for that 7th seed. All right, now let's discuss the NFC playoff picture as it currently stands. Right now, the Eagles have clinched a playoff berth as the number 1 seed. The Vikings have clinched their division at the 2 seed. San Francisco has clinched their division at the 2 seed. Tampa Bay is still fighting against Carolina and New Orleans for that 4th seed spots. The Cowboys have clinched their playoff berth, and the Giants and Commanders are currently fighting against the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers to remain in the playoffs. All right, now let's get to my weekly NFL rankings. So coming in at number 5, I had to knock the Eagles down just a little bit. I was very unimpressed with their defense against the Cowboys. I know it's the Cowboys, and the Cowboys have been playing well, but still, I just don't understand how their defense was as lackluster as they were this past week. Coming in at number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. I really like what the Buffalo Bills have been doing, especially they have implemented a run game, which is what I've been begging them to do for the past 16 weeks. So their run game has been looking a lot better. So yeah, I got the Bills at number 4. Number 3, I got Kansas City. That might be a little bit controversial. Kansas City did not move for me. They look good in certain ways, but they should have blown the Seahawks out, honestly. Our defense is not good, and they only scored, 24 points? So, yeah, I just expected a little bit more from the Chiefs. Number 2 is San Francisco. I think San Francisco is the team to beat in the NFC right now. I know Eagles have all but locked up the number 1 seed, but the San Francisco is looking super, super dominant right now. And finally, the Bengals. They haven't moved in the past few weeks. I'm really liking what I'm seeing for the Bengals. It was a little bit of a shifty, little weird win against the Patriots, but it's December. You're going to just take the wins where you can get them. So, yeah, that is my top 5 rankings as of week 17. All right, now we are on to the predictions that we will not be discussing. We will start with the early window Sunday games. There's a ton of early window Sunday games this week. So we have the Falcons. I got the Falcons over the Cardinals. I got the Lions over the Bears, the Chiefs over the Broncos, the Giants over the Colts. Even though if the Colts can beat the Giants, that will help my Seahawks tremendously, but we'll see. Eagles over the Saints. I think the Eagles will clinch the first playoff berth if they win that game. The Browns and the Commanders, which please, if the Browns can beat the Commanders, that will also help my Seahawks. The Jaguars, I got the Jaguars over the Texans. As for the late window of games, I got the Niners over the Raiders, the Chargers over the Rams, and for Sunday Night Football, it is the Steelers over the Ravens. That one might be a little controversial, but I don't expect Lamar to come back this week. Alrighty, now we are over to Thursday Night Football. It is the Dallas Cowboys at the Tennessee Titans. So for the Cowboys, their offense is looking a lot better, especially last week. I feel like Dak was on a whole different level last week. So I just need them to consistently play that way. And that leads us into the second point, consistency. That's all we need from this team. Just I need the same team to show up week in and week out, and I'm hoping we can start to see that as the season is coming to a close for these Cowboys. Next to the Titans, they're really missing Ryan Tannehill lately. I just don't think Malik Willis is there yet, or if he will ever be there, but it's just not looking good for them quarterback wise. And when all you need to do is stop Derrick Henry, the offense isn't going to be able to do too much, and it's not going to be difficult to stop them, unfortunately. So, and especially Dallas, I know their run game hasn't been great, but I expect them to come in and handle the Titans with relative ease, in my opinion, and that's why I got the Cowboys winning this one. Cowboys 31, Titans 20. Yeah, I just don't expect the Titans to be in contention in this game for very long. But yeah, I got the Cowboys for sure in this one. All right, now over to the early window games we're discussing. We have the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. So for the Dolphins, uncertainty at quarterback. I'm not sure if Tua is going to play another game this season. His head injuries have just caught up to him, and I'm just, if it was my kid, if it was me playing, you gotta take care of yourself at some point. So yeah, I don't think Tua is playing this week. Next, too many turnovers. Tua had 3 picks, I think, in just the second half last week. That is absolutely terrible. Cannot happen. Yeah, there's just too many turnovers. They got to clean that up for sure. Next, their defense just needs to produce more stops. That's 100% facts. They need to get the opponents off the field. That was their problem against Buffalo, and yeah, I just continue to see that as a problem, even last week against Green Bay. Next, let's move over to the Patriots. Poor play calling is leading to this team's demise, and I'm not sure if it's just because they had a defensive guy calling offensive plays or whatever the case may be. The Patriots offense just looks so lost at points. If the Patriots lose this week, they are out of the playoffs. They will not get back into contention. So yeah, this is a win or go home and lose, basically, for the Patriots. Next, the defense hasn't been able to stop anybody. Yeah, they have Matthew Judon, I think that's his name, and he's really good. But other than that, I'm not seeing anything electrifying on this Patriots team at all. Offense, defense, special teams, any of that stuff. So I'm not really sure what to make of this team. That being said, a little bit of an upset pick. I got the Patriots winning this one. Patriots 27, Dolphins 23. I'm just banking on Tua not playing in this game. So if Tua doesn't play, I don't think the Dolphins have a prayer. Alrighty, and our next game is the Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So for the Panthers, I've been really impressed with the way their defense has been looking the past couple of weeks. They should be as in the spot that they're in with all the wrong things that went wrong with this season, from trading away Christian McCaffrey to losing 2 quarterbacks now, and to move over to Sam Darnold, to so many other things. Like I'm just super impressed with the resiliency of this team. So kudos to the Panthers, and I think they just need to stop the run for Tampa Bay, and I think this will be a relatively easy win for them, but we'll see. Next, let's move over to the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, they just need a more consistent run game. It's just too hit or miss for them running the ball every single week. They just need to get it consistently put down, and I think this team can make a decent run in the playoffs, but we'll see. Next, frustrated Brady will result in an L. Yeah, it's kind of every single week you see him throwing tablets, just being super, super angry at everybody. Yeah, they just need to clean that up and not get Brady frustrated. Next, the run game needs to be established early. Yeah, just like I said, it needs to be more consistent. It needs to be established early, and that is what they need to rely on to win games. Not these, when there's 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter is when the team just suddenly becomes a Super Bowl caliber team. It's just not a viable strategy for them. That being said, I do expect that to be exactly how the Buccaneers win this week. I got the Buccaneers winning this one. Buccaneers 20, Panthers 19. Wouldn't I be surprised if this goes to overtime? But I got I got the Buccaneers in this one. Alrighty, now we're over to the late window of games, and sadly, we got to talk about my Seahawks this week, guys. So it is the New York Jets at the Seattle Seahawks. For the Jets, their defense has been looking great. Maybe they have like a couple of hit or miss plays in a game, but I think that's just because they're super young, and I just expect this team to continue to get better. Next, they just need a reliable answer at QB. From what I read, Zach Wilson will not even be dressing this week. So I think Mike White will be back, which really sucks for my Seahawks, but we'll see, I guess. Next, just move the ball on offense. Yeah, that one game that Mike White started, I can't remember. I think it was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. They played so damn good. Probably one of the most complete games that they have played as a team. And without him, I just don't see this team doing much more on offense in terms of moving the ball. Next, let's move over to my Seahawks. They just look lifeless on offense. I know we played against a couple of really good defensive teams, but good teams should still continue to play decently against good teams. Does that make sense? I'm just not seeing enough on this team, and it just irritates me to no end, because I'm watching these games and we are not getting beat by the teams. Like, if you watched us against the Niners, the Niners weren't beating us. We are beating ourselves, and it's so aggravating. Next, the run game needs to be established early. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. I know Kenneth Walker, he rushed for 109 yards last week, but kind of empty calorie yards when we're only scoring 10 points, you know? And I think this team needs to just be less reliant on Geno, because that was our big problem with Russ. We are too Russ reliant, so if he wasn't on top of his game, then the whole team kind of collapses. This team needs to just be more reliant on itself, if that makes sense. That being said, I'm so sad, guys. I got the Jets in this one. I got the Jets 23, Seahawks 20. I just expect Mike White to come in and give this offense something for the Jets and my Seahawks. It's not looking good for us. Alrighty, in the next game we're discussing is the Minnesota Vikings at the Green Bay Packers. So for the Vikings, they just continue to find ways to win games, and that's how you're supposed to win games in December, because there's certain games where you probably won't show up, or you just didn't put your best foot forward, and you might lose those games. But for the Vikings, they continue to find ways to win those games. Just look at the Colts game, for example. Like, mind-blowing that they won that game. Next, their defense. I think it's this team's strongest unit, in my opinion, because their offense, they do have, Justin Jefferson, they have Dalvin Cook, they have a lot of great players for sure, but I think their defense is really, really good. So I just think their defense needs to continue to play well, and I think this team will be just fine. Next, continue to get your playmakers the ball offensively. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, get these guys the ball. Adam Thielen, like, you have a lot of great playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, Minnesota. So please continue to just feed them. Next to the Packers. The Packers, they've been looking a lot better the past few weeks. I kind of did write them off. Even now, I still don't consider them a threat to get into the playoffs, but they've been looking a lot better the past few weeks. Next, continue to run the ball efficiently. Yeah, they have a great two-headed backfield. Continue to just run the ball. You don't need Aaron Rodgers to be the focal point of this offense anymore. Run the ball, and yeah, I think this team can. It might sneak into the playoffs, but I rather doubt it. That being said, I got the Packers winning this one. This one's a little controversial as well. I'm kind of going out on a limb on a couple of these picks this week, but I got the Packers beating the Vikings. Packers 31, Vikings 27. We'll see about this one. All right, now we are over to the last game of the week. It is Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills at the Cincinnati Bengals. This one is going to be a good game, in my opinion. For the Bills, I just need to continue to see their run game improve. Every single week, it seems like they're getting better at it, and I think that is very good for this team's playoff chances. So, Bills just continue to run the ball. Next, Josh Allen, he has been playing very mistake-free. He threw 4 touchdown passes last week, no interceptions. I think that was last week. Anyway, and it just looks super good. So I just need Josh Allen to continue to play like that, and I think this team will be pretty decent come the playoffs. Next, their defense is continuing to get healthy. Yeah, and that's all this team can ask for right now. Just keep getting healthy on defense, and hopefully they can make a run in the playoffs. Next, let's move over to the Bengals. For the Bengals, Joe Burrow, he just needs to take care of that football. He's throwing a lot of interceptions this season, which his team is good enough that they can take him off the hook for most of those, but I just need Joe Burrow to clean it up, because when you get into the playoffs, those mistakes will cost you a lot more. Next, keep running the ball with both backs. They have a great two-headed backfield that they just barely discovered this season, so continue to just run the ball at Cincinnati. You don't need Joe Burrow to be the guy every single play of every single game, if that makes sense. Next, I just think this team has way too many weapons on offense that you can't really stop them offensively. From Tyler Boyd to Jamar Chase to Joe Mixon, and I'm probably missing a couple of other players there, but they have so many good offensive options. I think this team is just my favorite team to watch right now. That being said, I got the Bengals winning this one. Bengals 30, Bills 24. This one could go either way. All right, and that will be the end of my Week 17 NFL predictions. What did you think? Was there any picks you agreed with, disagreed with me on? Make sure you leave those in the comment section down below. I've been Rogine. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.